Alrighty, y'all, so we're back again. Today we're making a tomato, basil, and chicken dish. I will say we're going to take a break from all the fried foods and get into something that's a little bit lighter and healthier for us. This will be great for somebody that is looking for something that's a little bit lower in carbs. These are a great noodle replacement, although I'm not using this in my dish tonight, but it's a great option. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is definitely clean those mushrooms because they will still have dirt and a whole bunch of shit stuck to them. So go ahead and clean them really good. And then I went ahead and sliced my mushrooms, not too thick and not too thin. All right, and now I'm going to teach y'all my little trick to remove all these little nasty tendon things from our chicken. It's pretty simple. You just want to grab the tendon with a paper towel, and then you're going to get a little space. And with that space, you're just going to get your fork and push it right through there. And then all we do is just slide it down. And you will need to use some strength for this. It's not easy. It doesn't come out right away, but just pull it right down and then your tendon will be removed. And now we have beautiful chicken strips with no tendons in them. Nobody likes chewing on that weird tendon thing. But these are the seasonings that I'm going to be using for my chicken. It's pretty basic. And again, this is optional. You can feel free to use whatever you want for yours. So I went ahead and seasoned my chicken and gave it a mix. And I am going to lightly coat them in cornstarch, but I did learn from this video, do not put them in the bag. Just need a light dusting of it. This will help give it a little bit of a crunch. To fry them up, I'm using avocado oil. I do have my pan at a medium heat. Get a good amount of oil, not too much, but once your pan is hot enough, go ahead and set your chicken in. You're listening for that sizzling, crackling sound. That's how you know that your pan is hot enough. And make sure when you're cooking your chicken, you do not crowd your pan because that will ultimately result in you steaming the chicken instead of searing it. And you can most definitely add more than 3 pieces of chicken. I just did this to show you guys, we really do not want to steam our chicken. We're just trying to get that crust on it. You should end up having something like this, and it slightly has a little bit of a coating on it that's crunchy, but it's not fully breaded. That's why we just wanted that light dusting. But in the end, you should have something that looks like this. Y'all, these were so good and delicious. You can tell how juicy they are just by looking at them. All right, so go ahead and set that to the side because we're gonna start cooking our mushrooms. All right, so I highly recommend you cook your mushrooms completely separate. Mushrooms hold a lot of water, and as you can see, the more that they cook down, it's just releasing water in the pan. And this is the same reason why before we do stuffed mushrooms, we put them in the oven to get some of that water and moisture out of them. Personally, I think if you add your mushrooms in all at one time, it'll have your food tasting like overwhelming mushroom, and that's really not what we're looking for because all this water came straight from those mushrooms. And if this gets in your sauce, it's going to be completely overwhelming. And to completely avoid that from happening, I went ahead and just rinsed all my mushrooms again, but set that to the side because we're going to start our sauce. This is 1 can of tomato soup. And I will say ahead of time, you're probably going to need 2. And then you're also going to need some heavy whipping cream. To measure, I just went ahead and used the same tomato can. I got everything from the side and I went ahead and poured it in. You definitely will need to add 2 cans of tomato soup, and with your heavy whipping cream, kind of just adjust it to the consistency and taste that you want. Get you some fresh basil, and this is a must. You have to use this if you're looking for the same taste that I created in this video. You definitely need to use fresh basil. I promise you guys, it will taste so much better. And you can most definitely use dried basil, but the fresh is the best way to go. All right, so now I'm gonna take my sun-dried tomatoes, and I am gonna be using the julienne cut. If your store only sells them whole, that's perfectly fine. You can throw them in whole, or if you want to, you can cut them up just like that, kind of like that julienne style. I do think that helps them get tender faster. And I will say I personally added the whole bag to my sauce because I just love them, and I think that it really helps the taste and really just captures everything you're looking for. All right, and from here I'm gonna start cooking my spinach. Again, I'm going in with avocado oil, throwing my spinach in and kind of just moving this around. Spinach cooks really fast, and you're gonna need to use a lot more spinach than you probably think you will, because you'll see that it starts to cook down and kind of almost goes to nothing. Go ahead and add your spinach back in and mix it up. I honestly would recommend you use fresh spinach like I did. You will not have an overwhelming spinach taste if you're worried about that. it will not happen. And same thing with your mushrooms. Your mushrooms have been washed, drained, cleaned, everything is good. So just go ahead and mix that all together, and we're gonna let this cook down just a little bit. We're not gonna ever bring this to a boil, but we do want to simmer it. I would also recommend covering it and just letting it go for about 10 minutes. And after that, this is kind of what the sauce should look like. Like everything kind of meshes together nicely. This is about the point where you want to add your chicken back in. And I would probably cover it again for about 10 minutes and just let that go. All right, and after about 10 minutes, you should have something that looks like this. And I'm about to start plating this up. I chose to serve mine in a bowl, and I just added some grated Parmesan cheese on top of it. You can also add some fresh basil on top. It's totally up to you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.